All right, and video is up, video is running. So we will so we are video live on TeacherCast.tv. And so we'll get started officially in a few minutes here, but just that was a language check right there.
Sure. Is there a rundown of sorts, or
there is a Google Doc. Somebody can put that in the chat. Let's see. Which computer am I using here? Josh, can you throw the Google Doc in the chat?
I will attempt to find it.
Okay. So we're going to spend the first couple minutes. I'll do the intro, and then I will introduce Matt. And Matt and I are going to talk for just a few minutes to introduce Raspberry Pi. Help me out. Pi Academy? Is that the right way of saying it?
Yes, Pi Academy.
Pi Academy. So we're going to just do a little commercial for Pi Academy, and then we will move on with the show where I will introduce everybody else. And then I really just want to have this be a big conversation. Please feel free to poke and jab, and, Josh, please help me lead the conversations and stuff. But I definitely, we want to plug everything. So, Dan, please feel free to plug away everything that's going on in Tinker World. And,
Sure.
Please feel free, this show is all about what can happen in the classroom. So it's great to say, here's Tinker, it's great, but I really want you to talk about what can Tinker do in the class? How can we use it? Give me 35 ways of using Tinker with different lessons. We're all kind of tech coachy here as far as the co-hosts and stuff. So I like keeping this show classroom centric and classroom centered here. On TeacherCast.tv, we do have our chat box, which you guys can feel free to jump into. On some weeks, it's pretty lively. We've had, 50 to 70 people, and it all depends on how often we bombard our Twitter feeds and stuff to make sure that people know that we're here. So anything that we can do to push people onto that would be fantastic. Dan, are you going to ISTE this year?
Absolutely. I will be there.
I'm looking forward to getting back to San Antonio.
Yeah, no, I don't think I haven't missed one in a while. So.
And you're still in Chicago? Where are you?
I'm in Chicago. Yeah.
So you're here. So local for next year. That's pretty cool. Party at Dan's.
Yeah, no, that is very happy. Very exciting. I have never experienced an ISTE in my hometown before, so this is going to be new.
Are you close to the center? Can we turn your home into a mobile broadcasting command center? Right?
Not really.
Oh, damn.
Nice, but I'm not that close. You got to take an L ride. It takes like 40 minutes.
Oh,
to
okay.
Get down there. So,
Jeff, I perused my Google Drive as much as I possibly could, and I must not have access to the folder you keep this stuff in.
All right.
You can add in a second if you want.
Josh, there it is. I just shared it with you.
All right. I see it.
So if you can, and that is right now, anybody with the link can edit. So if you can splash that one around a little bit. Sorry, I'm working off of two different machines here. I finally got my multiple monitors running. So now I've got two machines and two monitors on each. So we're having fun here.
That always just freaks me out when you do the whole security camera view.
Oh. Well, the one in back fell over, so I have to get that one set up back. So
that is a great shot of the ceiling.
It is, but in moving my monitors, I heard a crash, and that was one of my cameras.
Okay.
If I haven't said it yet, thank you guys all for being on tonight. It's going to be a good show.
Sure thing.
Hooray. All right. There's the show notes.
There we go.
Okay. And where are they?
I just posted them in the chat here.
Oh, there we go.
We officially have an anonymous badger. It's good.
It's probably me.
Badger.
Jennifer.
Hi, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh.
No worries. We have a full house today.
Josh, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh my gosh, running around like a crazy person, prepping for an event tomorrow.
Question though, are we capable of running around like something other than a crazy person?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can run around like a 3-year-old. I can show you what that looks like.
You have some examples of that, right, Jeff?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. Oh, look it. If I don't know names, I just say Daniel, and I'm like halfway there. Fabulous. Daniel, and Matt. Okay, hi guys. How are you?
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
Hi.
Excellent.
Good. How are you?
All right,
Matt,
we'll get
the
ready to
snazzy
start.
background there.
Thank you.
Look at that. That's cool.
I like that background, Matt.
Joe,
that?
welcome.
It's a conference room in our co-working space.
That is cool.
I never get commented on my background of standard
Beige
lodge
roll.
shutter door thing
It's a nice one.
and eggshell colored walls.
Josh, that's because we're too busy complimenting you on winning the Super Bowl every year.
Hey,
I mean, I myself didn't win the Super
Oh,
Bowl.
okay.
So, I mean,
we just live in the winning state. That's all.
and we both don't even do that.
One of us lives in the winning state, Josh.
One of us visits the winning state like every year now, so there's that. It's like my return to Mecca every year.
Jen, what is the event again tomorrow that you have?
Google Palooza. It's a MassQ Google training event with about 165 teachers and 8 certified trainers. It's gonna be fun.
Nice. That sounds fun. We had the kickoff to our spring tech challenge today. So that'll be exciting.
What's that all about? The kids or the kids do stuff?
The teachers. I mean, hopefully by default, the kids will end up doing things as the teachers try new stuff, but it's just a way to try and gamify PD and encourage teachers to try new stuff in the next 4 weeks. And we had our kickoff today where we had 10 different teachers demo something that they've done this year or that they're learning about. And then the other teachers had time to go around and visit, kind of like pseudo ed campy meets demo slam meets. We have 2 hours to fit this in, so let's see how we can do it. It works pretty well. The teachers usually are very happy about it. It's the second time we've done it, and I don't see why we would stop doing it at this point because it's such a good use of time.
Nice. Yeah, we're on vacation this week. Do you have a winter break, Josh?
We do not. We have a break from winter right now with it like 60 degrees outside, but that's not quite winter break. They're different. Until Friday.
All right, let's get started. Again, we're going to spend the first couple minutes. I'll do the intro. I'll introduce Matt. We'll talk a little bit about Raspberry Pi. Then I'll go around the room and we'll introduce everybody else. Matt will do like 5-6 minutes just to keep it short for attention span sakes. Marcos, how are you? Marcos,
how are you guys?
Good. Thanks for joining us tonight.
How are you guys?
All right,
Thank you.
So when we do the intros, we will go very quickly, or else that'll be the entire second third of our deal. Okay, so when we just do intros, hey, how you doing? I'm so and so from so and so, and again, let's just keep the conversation going. Feel free to jump in and we'll just kind of steer the boat a little bit. All right, here we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to TeacherCast, your home for professional development. My name is Jeff Bradbury, and welcome to the Tech Educator Podcast. Tonight, we're going to be talking all about STEM education, and we have a very, very healthy panel tonight to talk all things coding, programming, and you never know what's going to come out of this panel's conversation tonight. There's, of course, several great things that you can do to connect with us each and every week on the Tech Educator Podcast. We love it when you reach out on Twitter at TeacherCast. Leave us a voice message over at teachercast.net/voicemail. Email us at feedback@teachercast.net. And, of course, subscribe to this and all of our shows over on teachercast.net/audio and teachercast.net/video. And one more time, thank you very much for joining us today. This is the Tech Educator Podcast, and my first guest is the product evangelist from the Raspberry Pi Foundation, here to talk to us about a very special event that's coming up in the next short little time. I want to introduce Mr. Matt Richardson. Matt, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Now, Matt, talk to us a little bit about Raspberry Pi. You're here to share some event that's going to be happening soon, aren't you?
Yes, absolutely. So the Raspberry Pi Foundation, our mission is to put the power of digital making into the hands of people all over the world. One way we do that is through our super affordable computers. This is the $35 Raspberry Pi we're probably best known for. But we also do a lot of things like creating free resources and programming and training for educators. Our real crown jewel of our work is Pi Academy. That's really our teacher professional development program. It's a 2-day hands-on workshop. We brought it to the US as a pilot last year from the UK, and we've expanded it for this summer, and we're bringing it to 4 different cities this summer, and we just opened up applications today.
That is amazing news. If you're out there checking this out, visit this. The website here is raspberrypi.org. And when we look through here, you can see that there's many different things that you can use a Raspberry Pi for. What are some of the ways that you're seeing Raspberry Pis used in the classroom?
So Raspberry Pi is used for learning about physical computing, wiring up circuits and doing a little bit of code either with Scratch, drag and drop programming, or using Python or any number of programming languages, Java, JavaScript, C, C++. And it's a way we hope people use Raspberry Pi to think of computers more like a material, like Seymour Papert had talked about computer as a material. This is really what we want to see people doing, and we want to see people being empowered, not just the people who are interested in computers themselves, but people who are interested in all kinds of things, from music, dance, art, humanities, and learning how computers and computer science can help them create the things they want to see in the world.
You know, all those words are very, very scary to somebody who's really new to this whole STEM thing. I want to bring on a teacher who is part of or has attended your Raspberry Pi Foundation. I want to bring on New Jersey educator Marcos Navas. Marcos, how are you today? Welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you, Jeff? How's everything?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for being here. Now, you attended Pi Academy last year. Is that correct?
Yes, I did. I had the great honor and privilege to be part of the first U.S. class of Pi Academy. We flew out to Mountain View, California. Was joined by an amazing array of educators from all over the country. We got together. We were first class, so we didn't know what to expect. So we had no other class, give us any advice or anything. But it was an amazing experience from start to finish. Everything from, and we had people who had experience with coding, people who were brand new to this, people who never even touched coding in their lives before. They got to Pi Academy. It was such a well thought out PD that, they took us through all the steps of what Raspberry Pi was, how to integrate it, how to use it. And it really opened up so many doors for me as an educator, and just for education, period. It really opened my eyes to look at education through a whole new spectrum. You're talking about a $35 computer that is very versatile, can do so many different things, can be used in so many different platforms with all the subjects in school. It's an amazing product.
Now, of course, if you're looking for more information about the great things that can be done with a Raspberry Pi, you can always follow them on Twitter at Raspberry Pi. That's RASPBERRI.org, or they're on Twitter at Raspberry_Pi. Check it out. Now, Matt, let me ask you a question here. Is the Pi Academy for everybody, or do you have to be a diehard STEM person? I mean, can I apply for a Raspberry Pi Academy if I don't know anything about computer education and I'm looking to learn more?
Yes, absolutely. So the only requirement is that you are an educator, and that we take a really broad view of what an educator is. Most of the people who join us at Pi Academy are K-12 classroom educators, but we get a lot of librarians, museum educators, after-school educators across all subject areas. As I said, arts and humanities included. We really see this as a cross-curricular tool. And so Pi Academy is really geared towards anyone of all skill levels.
And so one more time, check out all the great stuff happening at Pi Academy this year. You can find all the information out over at raspberrypi.org. That's raspberrypi.org. Of course, as we said at the top of the show, we have a very, very big panel. I want to bring on the rest of our crew today. I want to bring on Mr. Dan Rizak from the great city of Chicago. Dan, how are you? Welcome to the Tech Educator Podcast. Dan? Mute.
Oh, sorry, guys. Hey, man, I haven't done this podcasting thing in a year or so. So I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. You are an educator, but now you've turned to more STEM-related topics. Tell us what you're doing these days.
Yeah, a few years ago, I got the opportunity to be a STEM coordinator for a school out here in Illinois, and really just and I was moving toward the maker movement anyway, and so it gave me a chance to dive in headfirst with the maker movement. With that, I got to run a maker lab. I started diving into Raspberry Pis, just like my friends here on the podcast, and Arduinos and coding and everything. Just kind of ate every bit of it up. I started Maker Faire Palatine here outside of Chicago. So I was privileged to work with a group of folks to put together one of the first mini Maker Fairs out here and connect the maker community. And so recently I've been, I don't know if you guys have seen or felt the urgency for coding. If you are not just obviously if you're playing with Raspberry Pis, you probably have, but right now our society is moving toward a more automated society. So I've really felt the need to dive into this 500% and get our kids coding.
That is awesome. And you're right. It is about getting people to coding, getting people to programming, getting people to understand the language behind that all. And those are some of the topics that we're going to be hitting today. I want to go through some of our other guests. I want to bring on Mr. Dan McCormick. Dan, how are you today? Welcome to the program.
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on.
Doing well. Now, thank you so much for being here. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about some of the new things that are coming out in the world of STEM. And you think you have a great product that not only can be used in the classroom, but in the home. Tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing over at Blue Cloud.
Yeah, so at Blue Cloud, we're working on making technology modular in general. But in terms of education, we're building off the Raspberry Pi, actually. So we have a system where you can snap pieces together pretty much like Legos. And our whole vision with education is to making hardware as easy as it is to make software. And we're kind of integrating the two sides together so that kids can learn about all aspects. So like what Dan was talking about with automation being the future, there's going to have to be hardware to power that. And that hardware needs to be easy to assemble. And kids need to know how to get started with that.
And I love the stuff that you're going over there at bluecloud.tech, which is BLU cloud.tech. And you can see here, these are very, very easy things to put together. Now, if anybody's looking to pick up one of these things or get their hands on something like this for their classroom, what can they do to obtain some of this?
Yeah, so they can shoot us an email in the form down the bottom, but we are pre-launch right now.
And how long are you planning to be in pre-launch if anybody's interested in looking at these?
Yeah, so we should be launching within 7 months or so.
That is pretty cool. Also on our program today, our co-host, I want to bring on Josh, a great technology specialist from the great state of Wisconsin. Josh, how are you doing today?
Josh is doing absolutely wonderful, Jeff.
And today we're talking all about STEM. Is STEM stuff that you do a lot with your teachers?
Here and there a little bit. We've pushed on maker spaces within the last year and a half and have really started to get that idea in the minds of everybody. And now the next natural outcropping of that is, okay, we have these spaces, but what does Maker Ed look like in the content areas, in the classrooms? And that's the next big hurdle we're working on. And, some areas it's a much cleaner fit, like your science classes and in some cases your math classes. When you're a social studies teacher, an ELA teacher, that's where the challenge becomes, what does that look like? But I believe it's possible. And, I love Matt shouted out to Seymour Papert a little earlier, and he's somebody I really am trying to read more about and become more knowledgeable about his thoughts. Because the more I read, the more I like. And that's the direction I think we really need to go in education, and be considering, that mindset. And so, yeah, I mean, STEM, I would say the greater idea of STEM, I'm probably not super fluent in. So more focused on makerspace, gadgety, robot stuff.
And last but not least, I think, is Miss Jen Judkins. Jen, from the great website, the great brand newly launched website, teachingforward.net, you're getting ready for a Google type event this week. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing. And I'm curious, are you seeing a lot of Google and STEM things merged together in your travels?
So I'm preparing for Google Palooza. It's an event held here in Massachusetts, and we'll be seeing about 165 teachers tomorrow and about 8 certified trainers to just have a day of learning around Google Apps and their use in the classroom. I am really excited about this topic today. I'm a science teacher turned tech coordinator, or tech coach and coordinator. And before I came into teaching, I worked in science research. So I'm really passionate about exposing students to real, hands-on experiences so that they can develop an excitement and passion around creating things from scratch. And so I'm really excited about this topic, and certainly have had some experience with launching maker spaces in my district, and we are using our Google Apps as foundation pieces to help in the maker process in many ways, as students document their learning and do some prototyping and using some of those tools to help with that process. But I also love the idea of the physical computing piece and using actual hands-on materials to really get kids thinking about, creating things from their ideas in their mind. I think it's really exciting.
Well, let's just dive into some of these topics. When we're recording this, it is right now Tuesday, February 21st, and in only 2 days' time, the world is going to be celebrating Digital Learning Day. And was having this conversation with somebody the other day, and I said, "Hey, what are you doing for Digital Learning Day?" And they kind of looked at me and said, "Dude, every day is Digital Learning Day." So I kind of want to just throw this conversation out here, and please feel free to take it however you want to, and feel free to jump in here. But should we be celebrating Digital Learning Day? And if we were to build Digital STEM Day, what should that look like?
I think this is a great question because we've had this discussion ourselves. And I have recently been of the mindset of the whole digital learning is just part of what we do. And part of my concern in trying to make it like a one-day celebration is that we put too much emphasis on that. But at the same time, there is so much value in sharing what's happening in the classrooms, and our teachers so infrequently have the opportunity to hear what other teachers are doing or other students are doing unless they're within their specific area, grade, or content area. So I'm kind of contradicting myself here because we won't be doing anything this particular year special. I think we need to consider something to continue to highlight what we're doing. So it could coincide with Digital Learning Day, but I just think we need more opportunities to highlight just what's happening in our classrooms, because that happens so infrequently.
Yeah, I don't think there's any. Sorry, I was going to jump in, but I don't think there's anything wrong with promoting great things that are happening in our schools. I think I get a little impatient with if we're just doing an hour of code, that or something like that, where I want to see us doing coding every week. I want to see this being a reality every week. So that's kind of one of the reasons that where I am right now with where I am, just because I am impatient. We got to get these kids on track. We got to get them coding. We got to get them prepared. And so having a week or a day or something like that, there's nothing wrong with that. But we got to take it like tenfold.
How do you do that?
I think you you do have to not settle, not settle for just being okay with that. And you have to model for others. You have to model that example. So if you're, if you're a school or and you want to make this a reality for everybody, you gotta find the ways to make it happen so that other people follow suit.
So it sounds like you're talking, Dan, a little bit about professional development, right? Because it's not just about, Josh always puts out a wonderful week, Tech Tip Tuesday or something like that. Throwing some STEM stuff in there is nice, but to get people to act upon it. Jen, what do you think about all this? Does it really just come down to professional development and getting that tech coach behind the idea of STEM and then pushing it out to the masses?
So I think one of the major shifts that we're trying to make in our district is to go from these pockets of innovation to really ensuring that all students have a similar experience. I think it's always been a little easier to sort of work with certain teachers that are really, our pioneers ready to jump in and try anything new. But in fairness to students, we need to make sure that regardless of a teacher's comfort level, that all students are having some similar experience and exposure. And so when we take an idea like coding, which I feel really strongly about the importance of that, and for so many reasons, because I think that, initially as an educator, I thought, well, there's so much on plates of kids and teachers, like, is this really important? And then really I grew a passion for it as I started working with it myself and seeing students working in different coding environments and how they responded and the different areas of their brain and the ways that they're really extending their learning in other ways. These are not things that are happening in other classes. So it's just so critical that it become embedded in the curriculum. And so in my role as a tech coach, I feel like my responsibility is to, first of all, make teachers feel comfortable with something that they're inherently uncomfortable with. But also to show them the value of this in the learning. And so where Hour of Code is a great way to sort of expose teachers to this, I use that as a jumping off point to say, now I want you to see how independently your kids are working and how excited they are. And let's talk about how we can bring this into your reading lesson or your math lesson. And, and so I don't let them wiggle out of it. I try to schedule right away to get into classrooms. And I've been pretty successful in incorporating things like Scratch into the core areas and trying to make sure those are happening again, not just in one teacher's class who is always ready to do something new, but consistently across a grade level.
There's a couple questions that we have over here on our chat, teachercast.tv. And Sam and I have talked a little bit about this over the last couple years. Is there a difference between the term coding and the term programming? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I do. I think there is a difference. I think, coding can mean a lot of things. It can mean block coding. It can mean text coding. I think when you start getting into programming, you start to get into more engineering level of things. And that's when we start to breach the, I think that's kind of how I see things.
So you're saying you need to learn how to code and then you learn how to program. Is that that's the order of operations there?
Yeah. I think that's coding is kind of your basic universal language, right? Coding. And then once you know how to code, you can go off into many different directions. And if you want to learn how to program with JavaScript or Python or Swift, you then have those skills.
I think one of the things that teachers sometimes stumble on is where do you start, right? Like, where are some good things? Now, Matt, let me bring you back in here. When we're looking at getting started with a Raspberry Pi, I got to tell you, it's intimidating to look at this piece of hardware and just get the right idea. Many of our, quote, STEM teachers, sometimes they're called media center teachers, sometimes they're called librarians, and you kind of see this evolution of this position. But now we're being thrown these very, very amazing and inexpensive things, the Arduinos, the Raspberry Pis, where can an educator go to learn and really go for those great resources? I know raspberrypi.org is a great spot. What else is out there for teachers?
Yeah, so beyond what we offer on our resources on raspberrypi.org, and we have a ton of resources. It's a huge part of what we do is creating well-vetted resources that are very well looked after and updated, because we find a lot of people who want to use Raspberry Pi, if they just do a Google search for Raspberry Pi to do XYZ, you're not always getting the best quality product